Hi, I'm Eileen Nash. Join me every week as we meet interesting people who will teach you new, creative ways to manage stress and embrace vitality in your life. Grab a cup of tea and join me for this adventure.
Do you feel that you have a message that you want to share with the world, but you feel like your voice is not being heard? We are here to help. We are SOAR with Sacred Circles, TV shows, radio shows, and workshops. We have created a special place for you to connect and find your voice in empowered community. Connect with us at soundandlighthealingarts.com.
It's such a small world.
It is a small world. Okay.
And we meet around the kitchen table. This is Vince Cosmic. He is our cosmic helper today. And he has, want to stick your head in there, Vince. Come on.
All right.
What would we do without our friend? Thank you, dear.
Honored to be friends.
He's a fabulous musician in his own right. And we truly are community, and we are connected. Matt, can you give me that little geometric structure? That little guy right there, yeah.
You know, I'm very good friends with Richard Cook.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
See, we're all
Richard
just
and I go way back.
a couple steps apart. We have Matt Venuti here today, and in a moment I'll do a proper introduction. But the reason we do these shows is because something is emerging and awakening on earth. I see it in your eyes. I can see when people are actually what I call on the team. They are messengers. They have this core of pure light. They persevere. They get an angle on something that they actually become a master at. And that's the part I get to shine, the light on their mastery, as they hold their node with this awakening team to kind of just shake all the sleepers up. And you do it so beautifully with music. Matt Venuti, welcome to the
Thank
show
you, Jen.
today.
Thank you.
Matt is a composer. He is a singer, a songwriter, instrumentalist. I saw him in Marin, and I remember I was so touched. First of all, it's the first time I'd ever heard a hong. It's like a little spaceship, and it has an otherworldly sound, but the way you play it, I believe that you're ahead of the flock in hong playing. And now he is adding his voice with very opening narratives and stories, and he just finished a song tour. So Matt Venuti, he's a premier player of awe-inspiring acoustical musical instruments, my favorite, they're the most healing. The hong, gubal,
That's right.
gudu, and hangu. Now, these are going to be my first questions, Matt, that originated recently in Switzerland, but are truly multicultural world instruments. Matt is also a pioneer of wind synthesis and is one of the longest standing players of the electronic valve instrument. He tours year-round, and his songs, stories, and spoken word touch the heart in a profoundly beautiful way. His latest album, which I listen to in my car, is called The Rhythm of Life. It debuted at number 6 on the ZMR Top 100 radio chart, was nominated as one of the top vocal albums of 2016 by One World Music in Europe. Matt, that is a fabulous introduction.
Next stop, Grammys. I mean, you know, come on.
There you go. Well, you are that talent. You are a world talent. Tell us what you've been up to recently.
Well, I just got back to the Bay Area. I've been gone for almost a year. I left in...
Got a nice tan.
Yeah, well, you know, I've been in sunny places. It's been great. I stayed in Florida for a couple of months, and I played up and down the coast on both sides, and I've been through, you know, everywhere. When I left, I went down south into LA, and then I cut across the country and played, you know, kind of through up and down through the Midwest and the South, and then I ended up in New York State and spent a lot of time in the Finger Lakes region, which is my birthplace. About a month there, and then I headed south again, and I played through the Eastern Seaboard, you know, DC, Virginia, the Carolinas, Georgia, and finally in Florida. And then about a month and a half ago, I hit the road again. Actually, it's been probably more like 2 months. And I worked my way across the lower states, Texas and Arizona, and kept going through, and finally Southern California again, then back up the coast. So that's my route.
So you're a minstrel.
A minstrel, a troubadour, a bard. Sometimes people call me a what's that more derogatory term called? Never mind, we'll forget about that.
Gypsy.
But, well, gypsy's okay. No, it's
I
it's
love
a vagabond. I'm not sure. That doesn't sound so polite. I don't know. Vagabond sounds like.
But I see that you're leaving a trail of light, and my focus is always vibration. And those places, do you feel you were called to specific places, specific audiences?
I do. I feel like they open up for me, and they call me, and I come, and that's basically how it's worked. I get an email from someone saying, "Oh, I would love you to come to such and such." And I'll look at it, and I'll go, "Well, will that be on the? Can I make it on the way? Or maybe that's where my starting point's going to be."
So you know a lot of people. You've been doing this a while.
Yeah, I've been doing it for about 5 years on the road. I've been, professional musician for over 30 years, but this on the road thing has been the past 5 years, and it's been pretty much nonstop. I mean, in terms of, pretty much my focus for the year.
So speaking of focus, you're a composer and you're a singer. All of these are very different identities. Is the singing new? Or how do you differentiate what part of you is being expressed? What's your artistic process?
Well, I'm kind of come full circle, because I started as a singer-songwriter, and then when I got into the electronic valve instrument, I thought, well, this is a pretty cool voice. I got an 8-octave range, and I could play any sound with breath expression, and really,
Your voice is the 8-octave?
Not my voice, the instrument. I call the instrument my voice. That became my voice, because it was just so fantastic, and still is, but over time, I started to yearn for more acoustic, outlets. And I grew up playing the piano and the trumpet. I wasn't being called back to that. I needed something new, and some friends who had been to Burning Man one time that I wasn't there, and told me they'd seen an early version of the hung, and I knew it. It just lit inside of me. That's my instrument. So I tracked it down. I found myself in Bern, Switzerland, getting to know the makers of the instrument. And then I started to play instrumentally, to bring people into a deep play, because I needed heart healing. I had a very difficult time losing my wife. For 20 years, she passed away. So I was really trying to find my heart again. It was just.
I was at that concert.
Oh,
it was very touching. Lynn Augustine there.
Oh, Lynn, yeah. So that was an
with
instrumental.
The lighting.
Yeah, that was soon after she
with the
passed.
Poetry, and it was very vulnerable.
I think it was her poetry I was reading, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it was fabulous. It was very touching the whole evening.
Yeah.
I thought it was your poetry, Matt.
No, I don't remember what I was doing back then, but I was doing more instrumental music, I remember that, and then I started to need to express what I was feeling, and I got back into my singing, songwriting identity, and that's what's sticking right now. Yeah.
Yes, and your lyrics, they're universal.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I hear them, I said, that's what I would say if I were singing this song.
Yeah.
They're not simplistic, because they're very artistic, and they're deceptively simple, but they're so real and authentic.
Thank you. Yeah.
And especially coming from a male.
Yeah.
I think it's so beautiful to see this gentle, flowering vulnerability. So I know you have a lot of CDs, but tell me about the rhythm of life. Is this a different genre or field than some of the others? What was your inspiration for this one?
For sure. Well, the inspiration was to put down, well, it's interesting because I had a CD called Rise, which was me and the instruments, naked. Just, I mean, literally, because I played a lot of it in my bedroom, and recorded. So, it's like, there was nothing very,
Best things happen in the bedroom.
Exactly. Well, so I really, it was a very, very just bone dry but beautiful CD that a lot of people loved. And I was touring in the beginning of 2015. I was on a 10-month tour, and I went to Texas, and I was in Houston, and I was performing a few venues there. And I went out one day to play in the field there. There was a park, and I wanted to do some yoga. And I came back to my van. I opened it up, and everything was gone. And I had a complete shock that came through me. And the next thing that came through me was this can either be an experience that will empower you or embitter you. You have to make that decision right now.
Yes.
Don't know where that came from. I
Yes.
don't know why I
And
chose
the
empowerment.
listeners need to hear you saying that
What's
too.
that?
The listeners need to hear you saying that.
Well, I chose empowerment. I had no idea why or how, but it just came through me naturally. Okay, what's going to happen next? What happened next was amazing, because this bolt of light came through me, and this realization shot through me that my instruments weren't in the van; they were in my friend's house. Everything else, my recording gear, my video equipment, my clothes, my wallet, my passport, my microphones, my sound system, everything was gone. But my instruments were in my friend's house.
And instruments are our children. They're our babies.
Oh,
We
that's why they're not
merge with them,
replaceable.
with our
Yeah,
vibrational
yeah.
field.
But here's
Okay.
what happened. Let me finish this, because this is kind of where the rhythm of life came from. So Rise was also in my car, and that was the CD I was touring with and selling. But 2,000 copies of boxes of the CD were shuffled out. And
You're not in charge.
right, exactly. So I thought to myself, well, okay, first of all, I'm going to replace everything that was taken with better. Whatever I could afford, I was going to get better sound equipment, better microphones,
Fabulous.
better laptop for recording, better, whatever I needed. And everything else I didn't need, I was going to just let go of. But what was I going to do about Rise, the CD, with these beautiful songs? And I thought, you know what? I really love those songs. And instead of just replacing reordering the CD, I'm going to re-record it. And that's what the rhythm of life became. So when I got back to San Francisco, I spent a year, and I brought other instrumentation in.
You laid it on top.
I put in vocals and more vocals and more
embellishment.
embellishment in it, and because these songs needed, I feel, a bigger platform in a sense, and that's what I did, and that's what the rhythm of life is.
Well, you were definitely following spirit on that one.
For sure.
Do you hear the songs before you record them? Did the melody? They say Mozart would hear them in his sleep and wake up and write it down.
Well, I've done a lot of that, waking up in my sleep and running down and trying to record something, and sometimes that was magic and it worked. Other times I would just write poetry or write ideas and then put it to music, and other times I'd have the music first and I would just start singing.
So they're different things, and sometimes then you would put them together like a file, forming a file.
Yeah, I don't think there's any format for me when it comes to songwriting. It comes in all different ways and many different shapes and sizes.
I get a sense from you that when you say that you do your yoga and you're out in the field doing your music, the audience is the extra thing, the cherry on the top, but you would do music anyway.
Oh yeah.
You are music.
I've become so codependent with my instruments and my music that we cannot live without each
You
other.
merge.
Yeah, if I had a choice of I don't even know what the choice could be. I just really love playing.
Your muse, you are impassioned, you embody.
I should have had you on my bio. You're so great with words. Thank you.
Well, I'm feeling into who you really are.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to ask only one more question, because we want to have time for you to actually play and
okay.
share your beautiful
All
gift.
right.
And he brought a hong here.
I did.
So if you had a magic wand for the world, yourself, or how your music could shift things, what would you create for yourself and your music and for the world?
More of it.
More music?
Not more music, but just more doing it. More having opportunities to play and to share with people. If I go a week without performing or playing, I feel like I'm in neglect in a sense.
So it infuses you.
It does,
It's
and
like-
I also feel like I'm doing my work. It's a musical ministry in a sense. It does
Yes, it
touch
is.
people. It helps people open their heart. It helps me
Yes.
open my heart, and I know that right now in this time and place, that's more necessary than anything that I can think of.
And as you go out, and as he does his music, he's filled from above, and that generates more energy throughout the whole grid that is awakening.
Yeah.
But of course, you already know
I
this.
feel, yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to exit. I'm going to take this little tea set out of here and let this gentleman do what he does.
Okay.
Yeah, and be sure and talk about your CD.
Oh, we'll
here,
have
too,
time
and
for that?
show
Okay,
it. Just set that right there. All right. Well, just keep it rolling
right
here.
there.
Just keep it rolling.
Yeah, all right, so I'll talk about these CDs really quickly. The Rhythm of Life is my vocal album, which I just talked about. And then there's one that I just released called Speechless, which is completely instrumental, which thus the word speechless. Also the music on here might render you speechless. And it has some beautiful musicians on there, including the great tenor saxophone player Stan Getz, who is a good friend of mine. So I'm gonna grab one of the hungs, and I wasn't sure what song to play since it's only gonna be one song, but I thought maybe we'll do kind of a meditative piece that I call A Place to Breathe.
Now I can say I've done a concert with
It's
Matt
great.
Venuti.
It really worked. It really worked. Thank you.
These are my instruments, and it's so cute when you said that you thought your van was robbed. And today, my regular professional camera person wasn't able to come. We all make mistakes, and I usually never sit up next to my instruments. Now I see why. If we only trust life,
Oh, yeah.
and we trust what comes in our path, the magic
Oh, yeah.
can happen.
Yeah, I've learned that regret has no place for positivity. I mean, it just doesn't. It does not help you flow.
It
in
just
life.
sticks the particles, the potential,
Yeah.
stuck.
Yeah.
Just keep flowing.
Yeah.
Speaking of flowing, what is next? I know you're doing a concert here at the Mountain Temple
Oh, I am,
Bar
yeah,
in Nevada
yeah.
City.
Oh, then I'm back in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. I've learned that there's another Bay Area that I stay at in Tampa. They call it the BayArea
I
also.
have heard about that as well, yeah.
It kind of messed me up a little bit when I heard somebody talking about Bay Area. I go, what? Where am I? Yeah, but I'll be playing there. I actually am playing a gig with my band, as I mentioned, which is kind of exciting.
Cool.
I'm doing a few gigs with my band, but this is a public gig. A lot of my gigs with my band are we play at like gala events and stuff.
How many people are in your band?
Well, it fluctuates, but it'll be a 4-piece on this gig, the harmonia,
fun.
and we'll be playing these songs from the Rhythm of Life.
Very
But it's going
cool.
to have the African harp, guitar and keyboards, and it's a beautiful ensemble. Yeah.
That's where it really gets rich, especially with other masters
Yeah.
of their instruments.
Oh, they're
that
awesome. Yeah.
Co-creation. You know what you're doing? You're bringing heaven to earth.
Oh, I like that.
Of course.
I like that.
Our guest today, Matt Venuti. How can people reach you? How can they get your CDs?
Go to my website, and you can reach me right through the website. The contact page is Matt Venuti, VENUTI.com. And you'll find the CDs up there, Speechless and The Rhythm of Life, and many others. And please, if you have any ideas of places where I can play, don't hesitate to be in touch. I'll probably be able to make it at some point.
That's good. More love and light.
Thank you, dear.
Keep going
Thank
with
you.
Matt Venuti here on Just Jams. Thank you so much.
The rhythm of life, the rhythm of life. Village people, city dwellers, country folk, gals and fellas, gay by straight. Scouts. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. All in this together. All in this together. All in this together. We're all in this. We're all in this. The rhythm of life.
Thanks for joining us today. This programming is for you to grow and be inspired. And before we say goodbye today, I'd like to tell you who is joining us next week.
Snowmobilers, four-wheelers, limos, bikes, queens and clerks, unemployed, and those who work, freedom fighters, yoga teachers, armadillos, forest creatures, walkers, skippers, swimmers, runners, saints, sinners, singers and drummers, all in this together. All in this together. We're all in this together. All in this together. We're all in this together. All in this together. We are all in this. We're all in this. The rhythm of life. The rhythm of life. The rhythm of life. Village people, city dwellers, country folk, gals and fellas, gay, bi, straight, tolerate, love and hate, clueless, genius, black.
Do you feel that you have a message that you want to share with the world, but you feel like your voice is not being heard? We are here to help. We are SOAR with Sacred Circles, TV shows, radio shows, and workshops. We have created a special place for you to connect and find your voice in empowered community. Connect with us at soundandlighthealingarts.com.